Welcome to Lecture 13, where we will discuss animal form and function. Animals show extreme variation and adaptations in form, function, as well as behavior. These adaptations can be seen at multiple levels of organization, starting with the cell, adapted to various types of tissues, adapted to perform various functions within an organism, and these adaptations can also be seen within a population. For instance, emperor penguins have cycles of rapid muscle contraction in individuals in order to generate heat. In addition, they also have insulating fat layers to minimize heat loss. At the population level, they also can aggregate together to limit individual cold exposure, thus increasing the survival rate of the individuals within the population. Anatomy and physiology are inextricably linked. Anatomy refers to biological structure, while physiology refers to the biological function. Physical laws and processes such as natural selection play an important role in the evolution of body plans. For instance, fast-swimming aquatic vertebrates demonstrate convergent evolution in their body form. All these organisms displayed below possess a streamlined fusiform body shape. This fusiform body shape is important in order to minimize drag and to increase their swimming efficiency, whether they are a seal, penguin, or a bony fish. In addition, animals must be able to acquire nutrients to keep their cells alive and healthy, to exchange gases due to processes such as respiration, and also to eliminate waste products. These processes impose distinct limitations on body plans. As the organization of an individual increases, so does the complexity of the body plan. In addition, there is also a correlating increase in complexity of the tissues as well as organ systems that are involved. The basic rule is that all cells within an individual must have access to nutrients and must be able to eliminate waste in order to survive. Remember that we consider the cell to be the most basic fundamental unit of life. Single-celled and simple organisms like this amoeba and the hydra can simply diffuse substances such as nutrients and waste material through their membrane. Thus, they can exist with a very simple body plan. However, this is not efficient for more complex organisms. More complex organisms need to have specialized surfaces to carry out processes such as respiration, digestion, as well as excretion. Take a look at this diagram below to see how these systems relate with each other. Gas exchange is primarily carried out by the respiratory system through specialized respiratory tissues. This will also allow for gases to exchange into the circulatory system to then be distributed throughout the body. Also note that we have the presence of an excretory system that is responsible for eliminating waste from the animal, as well as a digestive system that was responsible for extracting nutrients from the environment. There is also a hierarchical organization of cells. Cells can be organized into four main tissue types: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle, as well as nervous tissue. These related tissues can be organized into functional units called organs. In addition, these organs can work collectively to form an organ system. One organ may even play a role in more than one system. We're now going to take a look at the specific tissue types, beginning with epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue will line internal body cavities as well as some organs and also covers the outer surface of the body. Epithelial tissue is usually present in layers of cells that are connected by tight junctions. Epithelial tissue has many functions and provides much protection from injury, infection, as well as desiccation or drying out. Epithelial tissue also exhibits what is called polarity. This means that there will be an apical end to the cells, which usually faces a lumen or the opening, and as well there will be a basal layer. The basal layer usually anchors the cells in the epithelial tissue to what is termed the basal lamina or the basement membrane. This is usually located right above the connective tissue. We're now going to examine specific types of epithelial tissue, beginning with stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium is multi-layered, which means, as you can see in the diagram below, it consists of multiple layers of epithelial cells. These cells are regenerated as the cells divide near the basal surface. As these cells undergo mitosis, they will be pushed up towards the apical surface. Stratified squamous epithelium typically lines the outer surface of the skin, linings of the mouth, anus, as well as vagina. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium, however, is a single layer of cells, as you can see from the diagram below. However, not all of these cells will reach the apical surface. This will give the tissue the appearance of being multi-layered or stratified. However, if you trace each individual cell, you will see that the tissue is only one cell layer thick. This type of epithelium can also be ciliated in some vertebrates, which means that the apical surface of the cells will have cilia extending into the lumen. This type of epithelium is commonly located in mucous membranes of the respiratory tract. Simple squamous epithelium is a single layer of plate-like cells. This type of epithelium is important to allow for exchange of materials through the process of diffusion. This type of epithelium is commonly located in blood vessels as well as the alveolar sacs of the lungs. Simple cuboidal epithelium is also a single layer of cells, however, these cells are square-shaped. This tissue is specialized for the secretion of substances. As a result, this epithelium is commonly located in the kidney tubules as well as glandular tissue. Simple columnar epithelium consists of a single layer of brick-shaped cells or rectangular-like cells. This type of epithelium allows for secretion and/or absorption of materials. This type of epithelium is commonly located in the intestinal lining and other digestive surfaces. Please note the images below to differentiate between these three different types of tissues. Also remember the two other types of multi-layered tissues that were mentioned in the previous slide. This allows for many diverse functions to be carried out by epithelial tissue. Note that the small changes in size, shape, and arrangement of cells provide a very diversified function. Also note the presence of the 5 different types of epithelium within the animal depicted below. We will now go to the next type of tissue, which is connective tissue. Connective tissue consists of small populations of cells with an extensive ECM or extracellular matrix. The ECM will consist of fibrous components and embedded within a liquid or jelly-like foundation. These can include collagenous fibers that provide strength and flexibility to the tissue, reticular fibers, which are important in joining connective tissue to surrounding tissues within the body, and elastic fibers that are important for providing stretching ability. Also, cells such as fibroblasts that secrete proteins and macrophages that phagocytize foreign particles and cellular debris will also be found in the ECM. Connective tissue serves to hold tissues and organs in place. We are now going to examine the different types of connective tissue. Loose connective tissue is responsible for connecting epithelia, like we've seen in the previous slides, to the underlying tissues and also anchors organs in place. Loose connective tissue consists of collagenous, reticular, as well as elastic fibers, and is located in the skin and also throughout the body. Fibrous connective tissue, on the other hand, consists mainly of collagenous fibers. This is primarily located in tendons, which attach muscle to bone, and ligaments, which attach bones at the joints. Pay close attention to the diagram below to note the difference in the cell shape, the amount of fibers and types of fibers that are present. Bone tissue is also a connective tissue. Bone tissue consists of osteons. An osteon refers to a unit of concentric layers of matrix. This matrix is deposited by cells called osteoblasts. These osteoblasts will eventually mature into osteocytes. These osteocytes will be embedded within the matrix. Within each osteon, you will have a central haversian canal that contains the blood vessels and the nerves. Canaliculi will also connect the osteocytes to each other. This tissue becomes mineralized due to deposits of calcium, magnesium, and phosphate ions. Adipose tissue is also a type of connective tissue. This is a specialized loose connective tissue in which many adipose cells are distributed throughout the matrix. These adipose cells will help to contain fat deposits. This adipose tissue is very important as it provides insulation for the body and also provides energy stores. Blood tissue is also a type of connective tissue. Blood tissue consists of many different types of cells, such as red blood cells or erythrocytes, leukocytes or white blood cells, cell fragments, also called platelets, all suspended within a liquid matrix. This matrix is termed plasma. The plasma consists of water, salts, as well as many small dissolved proteins. Blood tissue is very important in transporting oxygen throughout the body through the use of red blood cells, and also for immune defense through the use of white blood cells. Platelets also help in the blood clotting and wound healing process. And finally, cartilage tissue contains chondrocytes that secrete collagenous fibers and also chondroitin sulfate. Cartilage tissue provides strong and flexible support to the body. Eventually, cartilage tissue may be replaced with bone as a vertebrate embryo matures. In general, connective tissue is very important in providing support, nutrients, flexibility, and anchoring things in place within the body. Take a look at the diagram below to see how all of these different types of connective tissue relate to each other.